Today, we're really going to be talking about why Tutor.com and who we are, what we do. We'll be talking a little bit about where our tutors came from and how they do what they do, and getting a little bit into the student experience. And I'm sure that's where a lot of you will have some real interest and questions. And then we're going to get into the client portal as well. So that's sort of where this presentation is going. My name is Amy Dietzman. I'm the Senior Director of Learning Strategies and Professional Development with Tutor.com. I lead the training and PD team. And with me today is Jenna Gillio, who is our expert, and she's going to do a presentation on all of these things I just mentioned. So she'll be the expert and we'll throw the hard questions at her. But in the meantime, please feel free as we go throughout to throw your questions in that box. And I'm going to hand it on over to Jenna.
Thanks, Amy. Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today. Like Amy said, my name is Jenna Gillio, and I work on Tutor.com's Learning Services team as a training content manager. I've been with Tutor.com for about 2 years, and then prior to that, I spent about 4 years as a K-12 teacher. So super excited to be with you all today, discussing all things Tutor.com for faculty. We'll start by talking about our objectives today. So in today's session, we are going to examine Tutor.com and what it is that we have to offer. We'll experience how your students can access the service. We'll explore opportunities for students to engage with Tutor.com and explain how you can use the available reports. Following the session today, I will open it up for questions and comments. And then, like Amy said, you're also welcome to throw those in to the question box throughout, and she can try to answer those for you as we go. So we are going to go ahead and jump in. As a service of the Princeton Review, we offer high-quality, one-on-one tutoring that's available to students 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our tutors offer live academic tutoring in over 200 subject areas, as well as drop-off writing support, where students can have their papers reviewed and returned in 12 hours or less. We also offer a variety of grad test prep tools, including sample tests, test prep courses, and more. And here at Tutor.com, we really strive to support the whole student by offering career help as well as student success coaching. So we'll talk about all of that a little more in depth as we go. So that all sounds great, but you might be thinking, I already have so much on my plate. Why should I also promote Tutor.com to my students? Well, our goal is for our service to take some of those things off of your plate and act as a support to you rather than adding an additional item to your to-do list. We understand that the to-do list of a faculty member is never ending. So think about the students who wait until the last second to complete an assignment and flood your email asking for help. Or student athletes who spend a lot of time on the road and require some additional support from you outside of class. Tutor.com is available to students 24/7 so that you and your TA don't have to be. Our tutors are able to reach all of your students at all hours of the day and night, if we're being honest. So we're here to support your students and in turn, support you as well. And rest assured, our tutoring programs are built to help students maintain a strong growth mindset by supporting students with assignments and improving their grades, all while maintaining student agency. Our tutors never just give students the answer, but instead build confidence by helping them work through challenges. And I just love these quotes from students, so I want to shout out a couple of them. 96% of students say Tutor.com makes them more confident in their schoolwork. One student shared, "This service is such an amazing thing. After speaking with Cheryl and making a few changes, I feel confident I can submit my paper this morning and receive the grade I'm hoping for." And 97% of students say our service helps them complete their assignments. Another student said, "I love this service. I wouldn't be able to complete some of my assignments without it." So we love hearing that from students. We know it's important to faculty that only the most qualified people are working with their students. So let's talk about the people who are actually providing this service. Each year, we have over 200,000 applicants interested in tutoring with our service and that register on our site. If applicants meet our required minimum qualifications, they then move on to our subject exams. These rigorous exams, created by subject matter experts, ensure that the applicant's knowledge is at the appropriate depth and breadth and that their expertise is up to date. The effectiveness of these exams is demonstrated by the fact that less than 10% pass them. After the content knowledge exams, the applicants are introduced to our online classroom. They connect to one of our trained classroom facilitators who explains the Tutor.com philosophy of tutoring, helps them ensure familiarity with the different features of our classroom, and interviews them about their experiences with tutoring to ensure that they're a good fit for our service and for your students. That said, only 1.2% of initial registrants make it to this point in our process and actually begin tutoring with us. And it's because of this rigorous process that we feel confident saying our tutors are true experts at what they do. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what our tutors actually do. Our goal is to provide equitable access for all students. And one way we achieve that is through our multitude of subject offerings. We offer more than 200 subjects to students, including core subjects like math and science, as well as more specialized subjects, such as computer science and business. So here you can see the overall subject umbrellas that we provide, with each of them encompassing a variety of subtopics. And I also want to point out that any subject you see with an asterisk next to it, we are also able to provide support to students in Spanish as well. Our tutors are familiar and comfortable working with all types of students. Each tutor differentiates their approach based on student needs, and our online classroom is equipped with tools to support all types of learners. So for example, students have the option to connect with their tutor using the voice tool or to solely communicate via chat, depending on their preference. The classroom whiteboard includes many additional ways of communicating, like drawing, using diagrams, and more. And our classroom is compatible with screen readers for students who need that type of support. We also employ designated tutors to work with English language learners. So students can connect with our tutors to work on ELL reading, writing, and speaking. And students can connect with Spanish-speaking tutors for help in their core subject I mentioned previously, like math and science. Tutors will work with students to clarify their assignments, break concepts down into small digestible steps, help students learn new terminology, and more. Our tutors also support students outside of academic content. Student success tutors help students with time management, coping with stress, overcoming test anxiety, etc. And we have career help tutors that can support students as they work on job applications or resumes and as they prepare for interviews. Like I shared before, we feel strongly in supporting the whole student. So we've shared with you what we do. Now let's discuss how we do it. We're going to take a closer look at our tutoring philosophy, as well as our procedures for monitoring our tutors. Our tutoring philosophy is rooted in what we call the 7 tenets of tutoring. After 25 million sessions, we feel confident that these tenets are what set our tutors apart. So let me briefly explain each tenet. The first is to provide accurate content. As you just learned, our tutors must pass rigorous subject matter exams to qualify to tutor in each subject. This ensures that our tutors have true depth of knowledge required to effectively support your students. The second tenet is to appropriately clarify. Tutors begin each session by clarifying what it is the student needs help with, as well as what they hope to accomplish by the end of the session. Next is to identify an appropriate approach. After assessing prior knowledge, tutors use a variety of approaches, including scaffolding, modeling, or direct instruction, depending on what it is that the student needs. And then throughout the session, tutors are consistently evaluating student progress and changing their approach accordingly. The next tenet is to ensure understanding. It's our belief that the one who does the work does the learning. The primary goal of each tutoring session is to promote student confidence and critical thinking skills and to lead them toward academic independence. Next is to manage time effectively. Our tutors collaborate with students to establish a realistic and attainable goal at the beginning of each session, which is then used as a roadmap to guide their instruction. The next tenet is to display professionalism and respect. As you know, students learn best from those that they respect. And our tutors earn that respect by demonstrating kindness, patience, and empathy to all students. The final tenet is to demonstrate familiarity with the policies, procedures, and classroom tools. We have procedures in place to ensure that your students are safe and well taken care of. And our tutors are consistently provided with resources to ensure they are familiar with the most up-to-date policies and procedures, which you are going to hear a little bit more about on the next slide. Our quality assurance team makes it a priority to equip tutors with the tools they need to support your students. So as tutors conduct sessions, they are going to receive student feedback. We also use an automated monitoring system, which will flag sessions for a variety of different reasons. Things like unusually long session times, swear words, phone numbers, social media tags, etc. Our quality assurance team monitors both of these items closely to ensure that tutors are in line with the 7 tenets. We have a team of quality specialists who regularly review their assigned tutor sessions to check for accuracy of content, as well as best practices, and then, of course, provide them with feedback and relevant resources from our Tutor Resource Center. Now, let's take a shift and take a look at what your students are going to experience when they log in to Tutor.com. Our service is super easy to access. We work to seamlessly integrate with tools that students are already using. However, it's important to note that this is going to vary from institution to institution. So if you're not sure how your students will access our service, you'll want to check in with your program manager to find out. And now we're going to take a quick look at what it actually looks like when a student logs in to connect with a tutor. So they're going to log in to Tutor.com. Again, that's going to vary how they're accessing the service. They're going to click that yellow Connect Now button and begin by selecting their language between English and Spanish. They'll select their topic, subject, and grade level. Here, obviously, is a K-12 example, but the same applies for higher ed students as well. And then they're going to follow by asking whatever question it is that they need support with. This message will be sent to the tutor when they select submit, and they can also select to attach a file. So if they have like notes that they took in class or assignment instructions, things like that, they can attach that so the tutor has that to reference as well. They'll select submit, like I said, and then they will automatically be routed to a tutor who can support them. So it's really pretty simple and easy for students to use. However, since I'm sure that none of your students will procrastinate and they'll think way ahead of the curve, they can also elect to schedule a session with a tutor in advance. So to do this, they'll simply select schedule a session from that top navigation bar. They'll choose their subject and their topic, and then choose from our list of available tutors. Once inside the classroom, students will be able to communicate with their tutor using the chat function on the right-hand side or by interacting on the whiteboard. Whatever the tutor draws on the whiteboard, the student will see, and vice versa. The whiteboard includes many different tools for engagement and collaboration, and students and tutors can both access all of these tools. So they can drag in shapes or formulas, they can change the background to help visualize math problems, or they can import images or diagrams. Tutors can also share web resources, such as a periodic table or an interactive map, and they can utilize a graphing calculator in higher level math classes or work together in the code editor for computer science courses and many different languages like Java, HTML, CSS, etc. All of these tools utilize shared viewing to help supplement discussion and instruction. The classroom also includes a two-way text editor where tutors can help students format citations, create an outline, or begin to structure a paper, as well as file sharing, where both students and tutors can share resources and view them simultaneously. And our brand new classroom features a super efficient way to share files, which is called the Snap Attach feature. So using this tool, students can quickly scan a QR code within the classroom, take a photo of an assignment or instructions using their phone or mobile device, and upload it to the classroom workspace. I've tried it myself and it really is that easy. It's especially helpful for collaborating on like a lengthy math problem or even sharing written notes taken during class. So I love this feature. It's super easy to use. At the end of every session, both the student and the tutor will complete surveys. The tutor assesses learner needs, and this information contributes to the reports and early alerts that you can view as a faculty member, which we are going to touch on shortly. And students also have an opportunity to provide feedback on their tutor. Transcripts will then be available to students and administrators following each session. In addition to live tutoring support, students can also benefit from our asynchronous drop-off writing review. This service is also available 24/7, and the guaranteed turnaround time is 12 hours or less, with the average being just around 6 hours. Our tutors don't edit directly inside of the document, but instead they will add in-text comments with questions and suggestions for improvement. They'll also provide a rubric-based feedback form with recommended next steps. So we'll take a look at that on the next slide. Tutors will evaluate students in 5 distinct categories: the thesis statement, development of ideas, essay structure, research and citations, and grammar and mechanics. For each category, tutors will provide those in-text comments directly inside of the document, like you see here in this example. They'll then follow up their comments with targeted feedback and provide a rubric evaluation on what we call our summary feedback form. So here's another example in the developing ideas category. You can see here that Mary Ellen provides praise for finding excellent quotes that support the argument, but also encourages the student to be more explicit about how the quotes support her argument. She also gives guiding questions to help the student think a little deeper about the quote and what it means for their argument. Again, she then provides corresponding feedback on the evaluation form. Let's take a look at one more example. On this section, the grammar and mechanics category, Mary Ellen doesn't simply fix the student's grammar and mechanics, but has instead highlighted the student's errors in the comments. She goes even further by explaining why the capitalization is incorrect and even provides a very brief lesson on proper nouns. She asks the student guiding questions to help them correct their errors so they can avoid making the same mistakes going forward throughout their paper. And again, she follows up her in-text comments with evaluation and additional feedback. Additionally, students can independently test their knowledge and prepare for tests or quizzes using our practice quizzes, which span most subject areas. These can be helpful to students in identifying where they might need more help. In addition, after a student completes a quiz, they can review their missed questions and, if they choose to, connect with a tutor to discuss that question in further detail, which is really nice. Now that you know a little bit more about the services that we offer our students, you can help spread the word. There are many different ways to get students engaged in our service. So a few that you might consider implementing are announcing at the beginning of the semester and regularly throughout the service that we offer. You might consider adding access information and use cases in your class syllabus. If you have a class social media channel, you could share it there. Your university might consider adding it to their website or learning management system. And then, of course, physical signage as well. We'll talk about this a little bit later on, but our client services page has different printables that you can print out. So posters, banners, information cards, flyers, things like that. You could share out, post in the hallway outside your classroom, or hand those out to students. And then we also have different videos for students and faculty members as well on that page. So I'll share that info out a little bit later on in the presentation. The last thing I want to discuss with you is how to utilize our client portal. Faculty access to the client portal will vary from institution to institution, so you'll want to check with your program manager to find out how you can access the reports and data that I'm about to show you. So to access the client portal, once you're in Tutor.com, you'll simply click the button in the top right-hand corner of the home page, again, after logging in, and again, noting that this access to this page will vary from institution to institution. Once you have selected that client portal button, you're going to be brought to the landing page, which is called My Dashboard. Here, you'll find a fast facts snapshot of the current status of your partnership with Tutor.com. So starting from the bottom of the screen, the blue boxes provide up-to-date usage and outcomes info across the partnership, including how many sessions have been conducted and how students have rated their experience. These boxes are also live links to detailed reports, which in a few moments, we'll take a look at how you can access this data in greater detail. In the middle of the screen, you'll also find contact information for the members of our team that you'll be interacting with. So these people can help answer questions about implementation and logistics. Across the top of the screen are tabs representing the main information hubs that you'll have access to. Today, we'll be focusing largely on the On-Demand Reports tab. Within On-Demand Reports, you'll find several ways to access data on your students' Tutor.com experience. The broadest of these is the Program Snapshot Report, which serves as an overview of the program within a range of dates that you can specify. You can also opt to receive monthly reports summarizing this data. To access the history of these reports, you can click on Monthly Report Archive tab. Next up is the Student Usage Report, which allows you to dig a little bit deeper into how your students are using Tutor.com. Now, because this report displays student identifiers, it's a really great tool to use when working with students directly. These sessions can be filtered by date, by student location, or by center name. Now, this particular example is from K-12, but the same applies for higher ed. So as you can see, you can gather information about the number and duration of sessions, what subjects were sought out, and which campus the session was associated with. The names of students here are hidden just for the purposes of this presentation, but those would normally be included in this report as well. If you want to get even more granular, the individual student sessions report provides access to full session transcripts. With this report, faculty can review and replay individual tutoring sessions by clicking that blue "Click Here" button. This report offers line-by-line session data and can also be filtered using the same criteria as the student usage report. Each session is recorded and archived, so faculty can review sessions anytime. For sessions that included audio, faculty can replay the conference as an audio recording or read a high-quality transcription. Use cases here might be to verify that a tutor's methods align with your approach to the content, or perhaps a student who is seemingly doing very well in class received an early alert from a tutor. You could then review their session to identify what the tutor observed that you may not have picked up on during class. And speaking of those early alerts, which I've mentioned a couple times, the client portal provides access to reporting that includes early alerts and predictive insights. Tutor.com and our tutors may flag individual students for early alerts for 4 different reasons. The top 2 alerts you see here are triggered by tutor responses in the post-session survey. Students may be flagged for not having the required prerequisite knowledge to complete the problem that they ask for support with, or they may also be flagged for content mastery, which basically just means that by the end of the session, the tutor determined that the student didn't quite demonstrate mastery of the content. The bottom 2 alerts are automatically flagged in our system. The first type of alert will occur if the session was unusually longer than the average session length for a particular subject. And the other type of automatic alert is to indicate a frequently requested subject. So this will occur if a student is requesting help in the same subject multiple times. So here is an example of what that report might look like. So for example, you can see here that Lucinda Perez was flagged by the tutor for lacking prerequisite knowledge, as well as by the system for frequently requesting help in our pre-calculus subject. The final report we'll look at today is the topic drill down. You'll note that you can once again filter by date, by location, and by subject, though not by student name, because this report shows the content students are asking about most often across the partnership. So how might you use this? Perhaps to help identify what students are struggling with in class, or maybe to identify concepts that may require some additional review before finals. And that summarizes our client portal and reporting. But I do want to end by briefly discussing again our promotional materials, which are available to faculty members to remind students to use their Tutor.com access. You can really easily distribute these free resources digitally, or like I shared earlier, you can also hand them out to students during class. And again, all of this is available at our website, as well as additional information for faculty and a variety of different trainings and webinars for your use. So be sure to check that out at www.tutor.com/clientcarehed. And with that, Amy is going to open up the floor for any additional questions or comments about today's presentation. So thank you all so much.
Great job, Jenna. That was awesome. We haven't had any questions come in so far, so either that was just really, really good, or nobody is here. No, I'm just kidding. So let's see. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to type those into that Q&A box and we will answer those. I'll just wait a few more seconds here to see if anybody has anything. I will answer a frequently asked question. A lot of times when faculty come and come to these presentations, they want to know exactly what subjects we offer, because we say we have over 200 and we didn't really provide a full list. You just saw kind of the umbrellas. We offer a lot of subjects, but every institution's a little bit different. So one institution might decide they want to offer a whole bunch of computer science subjects, and another institution may not have any computer science subjects. So it just depends on where you're at. So you might want to check with your program manager, whoever's in charge of this service from your school, if you want to get a list of those. And if you ever do have a subject that you would love for us to offer, you are welcome to request those subjects from your program manager. And then usually they'll send us, and it actually comes to Jenna and I, a course description. We'll look at that course description for whatever course it is, and then we'll determine whether or not we can support it and which tutors should support it. So we have a question. Do students have to pay for anything with this service at college? No. This service is completely paid for by the university or the college, not by students. They don't pay for anything at all. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday.
Thanks, everyone.